question.
OK, time for some more calls on...
What is Alan firing his friend's air rifle into?
That sound again. And again. Line 10, what am I firing my friend's air rifle into?
A sandwich.
Wrong, line 3.
The future?
Are you on an E? Line 6.
Dunno.
Did you call earlier?
Yeah, I did.
Unbelievable. Line 4.
Chop, chop, the nurse is here!
What the hell's all that about?
No idea, mate.
Seriously, what?
might have something to do with me.
Why?
It's to do with something I did on the on Branning's show last night.
Well, let's hear it.
Move on.
No, let's hear it.
Move on.
Let's hear it. Seriously.
No, it wouldn't work now.
No, you can't deprive the listeners of mid-morning matters.
On this occasion, I think I should.
Seriously, let's hear what you did.
Really? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on,
Okay.
Steve.
Well, so Carl Branning was under the weather, and he had some night nurse and some day nurse, and so the big joke was, which one should he take, because it's the night time, but he still didn't want to go to sleep. And then the callers started. It's like the later night, the callers are a bit more sort of zany, so they start calling in and with the other suggestions for nurses and people. And anyway, the point was, someone called in about a mental nurse, and then I basically was then a mental nurse for the next hour, just doing a stupid character about this nurse who kind of scuttles around the wards and is like putting milk into the drips and things, and she's just like toppling people out of beds, and I don't really.
Sidekick Simon.
Don't worry about it, honestly. Wait a minute. Have you seen Duck Soup and Larkspurs?
Oh, yeah.
You'd love that. You'd love it. OK, time for traffic and travel.
Traffic and travel.
That was Alison Moyet again. And now for the final choice cut of Partridge on Partridge.
Sounds like two birds
Not
copulating.
now, mate.
What about family? Got any kids?
Yeah, I got a couple, male and female.
Names?
Denise is the female, and Fernando, he's the other one.
Love them?
Just a bit.
Do they listen to the show?
Yes, they do.
It's not what they told me.
You don't know
What
them,
would be
you know
your
them,
ideal evening?
I'll tell you what it wouldn't be, is having a pint of bitter with a traitor.
Come on, Alan, give me a break.
Who said I was talking about you? World doesn't revolve around you.
No, I'm not saying that.
You're not the moon.
I thought you said you weren't bothered.
What about your favourite TV show?
Deal or no deal, I'm not bothered.
And why is that?
Edmonds. You can do what you like for all I care. It's a free country, unless they change the law.
What about a favourite war?
The 100 Years. I'll tell you something else.
Any reason?
Pioneering use of cannons. You can make love to the guy for all I care. Bum time with Branning. That's been legal since '67.
What's your greatest
You
strength?
give a break to a lab assistant from secondary modern.
Your biggest weakness?
Repays you by taking 30 pieces of Branning silver.
He's not paying me, Alan.
It's a metaphor.
What makes you laugh?
To recap, key strength, courage, weakness, too kind, funny, YouTube, sneezing panda, enjoyed chat.
I enjoyed chatting to you too. Thanks, Alan. And tell Chagwin I'll pay for the dry cleaning, but he should count himself
That's something
lucky with
else.
it.
And the answer to what is Alan firing his friend's air rifle into is a beef tomato. And here is Mick Hucknall. Now it's time for Who Does Alan Think Alan Is?
Who do you think you are?
Just to explain, the sense of that line was not properly explained to the voiceover artist before she went into the booth. By the time I find out, she was already in a cab. Complete waste of 30 quid. She sounds like she's been touched on a bus. My main guest today is one of the genealogists from BBC One's Who Do You Think You Are? Please welcome Henry Spring.
Hello. Our journey begins with your great-grandmother, Annie Partridge. Do you remember her?
I do, Granny Annie. She died when I was a toddler. She used to make me chucky egg. Egg and butter chopped up in a bowl. You can add that to your files. Send it to the boys at WDYTYAHQ. Who do you think you are, headquarters?
Well, like many women of her time, she was a stay-at-home mum, wasn't she?
She was unemployed, yes.
But what you might not know is that if we delve one generation further back, we find she had an aunt who lived quite near here, so that would have been your great-great-aunt.
It's fascinating. Please tell me more.
She lived in a semi-detached house in Sheringham at the very end of the 19th century.
That must have been one of the first semi-detached houses in Norfolk.
Not in Norfolk, but it may have been one of the first in Sheringham.
But that's still fascinating. It sends a shiver down your spine.
Do you want me to get you up?
Rest in peace. Great aunt. What's her name?
We don't know, we just have the initial E.
Rest in peace. Mrs. E. Was she married?
We don't know that either.
Oh, well, rest in peace. E. Partridge. What was the joke you were going to do?
I was just going to say, shall I go and get you a hot water bottle when you said you had a children in your spine?
Oh, yeah. No, that's good, yeah. I think I was right to stop you there.
Oh, yeah.
Henry, I'm right, am I not, that my distant relative was involved in perhaps one of the most important pieces of town planning that Norwich has ever seen?
Well, he worked in the office of town planner.
Changing what was Deering Square into what is now Deering Lane.
They effectively made it a thoroughfare, yes.
I mean, it's amazing. I mean, the number of times I've parked on that road. Never knew. I mean, I know it's loading only, but you park there after 6, they never get you. I almost feel like crying.
Certainly made getting into the centre of town that bit more straightforward.
And the rest. If it weren't for Deering Lane, you'd have to come in on the ring road. I mean, it's just amazing that an ancestor man had to wrestle with that awful decision. I mean, on the one hand, the square gave people somewhere to sit, a respite from the frenetic pace of life in Norwich. And yet on the other, I mean, direct access to Hobbs Road must have been like the promised land to civil engineers, cutting journey times from the east half of the city in half. It was caught between a rock and a hard place. It must have been ruddy hard. I sent a shiver down my spine. Another one. That's the second one in half an hour. I almost feel like I should get a hot water bottle to reheat my spine. Now it's time to return to Alan's sad stories. So things were going well between Gareth and I. But that was when our relationship took a twist that neither of us could have predicted. Shit, she writes, because Gareth died. But I married his twin brother, because he had a twin brother. Who was identical. He had eyes like a cow too. So everything was back to normal again. Until one day I discovered Gareth's brother in a compromising position with a box of Quality Street. He'd eaten 3 or 4 in sudden succession and completely ruined his appetite for the chicken dinner I'd so lovingly prepared. I was totally crushed. It was then I realised that Gareth's brother had a chalk problem. Nothing would get in the way of his addiction. The lowest point came when I found him collapsed in a sugar-induced coma in the bogs of Yates's Wine Lodge in Yarmouth. We cried and cried that night. I reiterated my love for him. He reciprocated his love for me. And we shared a chocolatey kiss that will stay with me forever. But it was then that everything changed. Again. Because his weight had ballooned to 20 stone or thereabouts. When he came towards me to hug me, he fell on me and shattered my spine in 3 places. The police didn't believe him. And he was carted off to prison for GBH, or attempted murder. Forget which. I still visit him once a week in prison, and he tells me, Alan, that he tunes into your show, and it offers him great solace, great comfort. And not that the show is aimed at the criminal fraternity in any way. The cons tend to listen to Orbital Digital, as many of them have learning difficulties. I should add, the reason I was able to visit him was because of a pioneering operation which enabled me to walk again, because they replaced my spine with a new one made of carbon fibre, which is actually the material they use in the engine blocks and chassis for Formula One cars. It's actually lighter than aluminium. Yours sincerely, Deirdre. P.S. Unfortunately, I can't remember what our favourite song was. Ah, what a sad story. OK, now, please do keep your calls, texts and faxes coming in on today's big question, which is, how often should you wash your towels? Ted in Wisbeck has been in touch. I don't use towels. I use a hairdryer set on cool. It takes a bit longer, but it feels lovely. And I finish off with a little talc for my testes and bum. Lovely stuff. Yesterday's quick-fire phone-in only yielded 3 calls. My mistake. I think panel beating was too narrow a topic. So today we're going to open it out with the question, what is the best thing? What's the best thing of all? So far we've got Sky Plus, a cup of Brazil nuts, that was amusing, livestock, valid, and wet wipes. That was a fascinating call from an elderly lady in Hempton. Let's have some more. Line 2.
The first smile of a newborn.
Who could not like that? Who could not like that, though?
Herod.
Yes, Herod. That's right. He was a baby killer.
He enjoyed... Yes, he killed lots of babies.
He did. We don't like him. Line 4, Sean.
Oh, it's got to be. It's got to be your radio show, Alan.
Oh, yeah. I have no need. You've saved me a lot of money on toilet paper now because you've already done the job for me, as it were.
You're arse licker.
Yeah. All right. Well, obviously that's the implication. You know. Line 6, Stuart.
It's sliced bread.
What about sliced bread?
Sliced bread is the best thing, isn't it? 'Cause that's what people say. They say it's the best thing.
Yeah, but
sliced bread is.
Well, that's a phrase, but it's not actually the best thing, is it?
Can I have a T-shirt?
No, of course you can't. That's just a turn of phrase.
Yeah, but it's the best thing, isn't it? Because it's what people say. They say the best thing.
I know they say that. I'm familiar with the phrase, but it's just a turn. It's not literally true.
Then why do people say it? Of course
Because
it's true.
it's not.
Sliced bread is the best thing. It's the best thing. It's
stop.
sliced bread.
If you keep saying it, Stuart, it's not going to make it any more true.
We all know the phrase, mate.
We all know the phrase. It's just an idiom.
You're an idiot.
No, an idiom, not an idiot.
You're an idiot.
No. You're an idiot for not knowing what idiom is. It's clearly confused you because you think I just substituted the T with an M. You stupid gim. You momal mwam. What you got?
Maybe that.
You're a compleem cunm.
Well, I think you're a prick.
Right, get rid of him. Sorry about that. I should have knocked him off more quickly. I wasn't quick enough. I apologise.
And a dick.
Shit. Right. Right, well, he's gone now, but I'll continue to speak my mind about him. Stuart, I've got to say, I think the Clifton Suspension Bridge was built for people like you. The fact that you can drive cars across it is a bonus, so do the decent thing. And leave the keys in your car so someone can shift it afterwards. And please don't call in saying I'm encouraging people to kill themselves.
Again?
Yeah. I'm suggesting that one person throw himself off Clifton Suspension Bridge because he is, and hopefully soon to be was, a very unpleasant individual. A bit like Jamiroquai.